Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, yes, tamu sana. Kenya Kwanza Alliance took their campaigns to Meru today. And Musalia Mudavadi made some remarks on Kiraitu Murungi, remarks that I strongly believe backfired on Musalia Mudavadi. So in this video, I want us to have a look at that short clip of Mudavadi actually talking about Kiraitu Murungi. After which I'll explain why I believe those remarks backfired on Musalia Mudavadi. Listen into this.
Nikamuuliza, hebu sikizeni, niseme ama nisiseme? Nikamuuliza, Governor, mimi nakuuliza, hapa Meru, ukiweka masikio yako kwa ground, inasemaje? Unajua aliniambia nini? Aliniambia ground hapa inasema hasla, inasema Kenya Kwanza. Nikamuuliza, na wewe ni mwerevu? Akasema ndio, mimi ni mwerevu, mimi ni mwanasheria. Jameni, sasa mimi nashangaa, alisikia nini kwa ground na nini imempelekea Azimio? Hiyo swali aulizwe.
Yes, that's Musalia Mudavadi. And from those remarks, Musalia is making it clear that before Kiraitu joined Azimio, he had a chat with Kiraitu Murungi. And he asked him what the ground was saying. And Kiraitu told him the ground was Kenya Kwanza, hustler. But instead, Kiraitu Murungi joined Azimio. That's what Musalia Mudavadi is actually trying to say. And he's also cleverly branding Kiraitu Murungi somebody who's not clever. Yes, because the ground is hustler, but he chooses to join Azimio. So, what does that mean politically? From those remarks by Musalia Mudavadi, there is this Kiswahili saying, Nyani haoni kundule. And that can explain perfectly well this case of Musalia Mudavadi. It's a given fact, and that's something that is now not debatable, that Western ground is almost a super majority for Raila Amolo Odinga. The Western ground is Raila Amolo Odinga. But Musalia Mudavadi, with that realization, he opted to work with William Ruto. So it's just, if it's true, Kiraitu made those remarks, then actually what is accusing Kiraitu Murungi is the exact thing Musalia Mudavadi made. He went contrary to what the ground in Western is actually saying. Nyani haoni kundule. He's just seeing the blunder by Kiraitu Murungi and actually is not seeing his own blunder. But again, you know, of late, Musalia has been coming out as a liar. He has been making some remarks that clearly shows that maybe is acquiring some traits of lying. Just some few days ago, Sabati, a member of parliament, made it clear to the whole nation that before Mudavadi joined William Ruto, actually they had warned Musalia Mudavadi that the ground in Western wanted Mudavadi to go all the way to the ballot. Not really the ground, but Musalia's supporters in Western wanted Musalia to go all the way to the ballot. But Musalia said he had no funds. That's what Aseka said, not Aseka. That's what Sabati, a member of parliament, Alfred Agoy said some days ago. Then Musalia just came and rubbished all that. And from the look of things, or rather from reliable sources, it's true, and even some leaders who also dumped Musalia Mudavadi have also just come out to say the exact things Alfred Agoy said. Kenneth Marende used to be a very close Musalia ally. And upon Musalia joining William Ruto, Kenneth Marende made it very clear that they also warned Musalia Mudavadi that William Ruto was a no-go zone. But still, he joined William Ruto. So Mudavadi in the recent days has been coming out as a liar. And even in this case, he might actually be lying that he talked to Kiraitu Murungi and that Kiraitu told him that the ground was Hasla or Kenya Kwanza. He might be lying. But in the event he's not lying, then he's just admitting that he's also just as foolish as maybe Kiraitu Murungi, because he's now trying to say that he asked Kiraitu Murungi whether he was clever. So he's just insinuating that Kiraitu is not clever. And that is the exact thing Mudavadi also did. And then secondly, from those remarks, it's very clear Musalia Mudavadi is living in a different world, not this one of ours. Either Musalia Mudavadi is very much out of touch with the ground, or he knows what the ground is actually saying, but is actually living in denial. I don't expect Musalia Mudavadi, who most likely from even the current political reality in Western, I don't expect a Musalia Mudavadi who is going to be given a humiliating defeat, even in his Vihiga home county. I don't expect that kind of a leader to actually be laughing his fellow leader. Because in the case of Kiraitu Murungi, I strongly believe from where I see it, even if you look at the recent opinion polls that have been done in Meru, Meru is fast aligning itself to Raila Amolo Odinga. And William Ruto is fast losing popularity in Meru County. And Kiraitu Murungi, being a seasoned politician, he might have projected that to the remaining 5 or so months. And Kiraitu Murungi knows that by the time we will be reaching August, the ground in Meru will largely be pro-Azimio. And if you look at the trends in Meru, that is a possibility. Because about 1 month ago, an opinion poll was done, an opinion poll by one of very reputable research firms, was done in Meru. And William Ruto's popularity stood at around 54%. Raila's popularity stood at around 38%. And some few months ago, Raila's rating in Meru was below 10%. William Ruto's rating in Meru some few months ago was almost 80s, going to 85. In fact, it was in the 80s. And you can now see it from 80s, it's now 50s. Raila's moved from a low of less than 10 to now is almost 40. And if you can project that in the remaining months, ladies and gentlemen, it's almost very certain that Raila's popularity will overtake William Ruto's popularity in Meru. And that is one reason why I strongly believe Kiraitu Murungi might have joined Azimio. And then now compare that again to Western. Upon Musalia Mudavadi joining William Ruto, Raila's popularity in Western actually shot up, while William Ruto's popularity in Western dipped. So you can clearly see that the case of Western and Meru, these are two very different cases. In Western, Raila is actually rising as William Ruto declines, while in Meru, Raila's popularity is actually rising again as William Ruto's popularity declines. So I can say, ladies and gentlemen, that this also exposes Musalia Mudavadi as not being politically smart. He's just making, or rather he's living in denial or in some world that is not actually not ours. And then those remarks by Musalia Mudavadi again shows that Musalia has a problem. And I've always described Musalia's problem in this forum as a last-minute ditch mistake. After every 10 years, Musalia Mudavadi makes some mistakes that actually baffles Kenyans. And this is something that is consistent. As it is today, it's a given fact, and I'm saying this without any doubt at all, it's a given fact that William Ruto will not win this year's presidential election. That is a given fact. There is no debate about that. And it's also a given fact that from the leaked deal with William Ruto, Musalia is not even being offered a post of a running mate. And then he's asking somebody whether that person is clever. So you can see clearly that Musalia will be in the opposition. And he will be in the opposition as a nobody, a leader who has been beaten very badly, even in his own backyard in Western. So this brings me to what I've been saying, that after every 10 years, a circle of 10 years, Musalia Mudavadi suffers last-minute ditch mistake. We saw that in 2002. Actually, in 2002, he lost even his Sabatia parliamentary seat because he made the wrong move. In fact, he was in the winning team. He dumped the winning team. He went back to Kanu and actually, he lost his seat. In 2012, that's after 10 years again, we were told that he was promised that he was going to be supported for the presidency. After which we saw he was dumped. And the person he strongly believed that actually made it impossible for him to be supported for that presidency, that person we are being told from some reliable information was William Ruto. Ruto prevailed upon Uhuru not to endorse Musalia Mudavadi in 2012. And now he's with William Ruto. He's now with William Ruto. You can now see that in 2002, he made a wrong move. He lost his Sabatia seat. 2012, he was cheated. He was to be supported for the presidency. He dumped Raila Amolo Odinga. He joined Uhuru Ruto. And then he actually ended up being beaten in Western. And then 10 years again, in 2022, he's actually joining William Ruto. Aside he's seeing clearly, is losing this year's presidential election. How do you term that, ladies and gentlemen? That is a last-minute ditch mistake. It's a syndrome Musalia Mudavadi suffers. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, just as I did state when I was starting, in case you've bumped here for the very first time, subscribe, give this video a like. Thank you. God bless you. God bless Kenya.